strategists are difficult because they're generally people that have had maybe different backgrounds. They've had not necessarily a linear sort of up the corporate ladder approach. So they could have worked in an adjacent category or an adjacent field. They could have some capability. And I think that I spend the time interviewing a lot of people that put their names forward for strategy roles. But when you actually really start to question what, and there's sort of, there's the people that just can talk and you think, oh, they're good. And, they're, but when you then start to really ask them the questions that you can see them start to be challenged by some of the concepts or some of the theories around the types of growth strategies, especially and in media, there's certain sort of capabilities that you can understand. So you can find those people quite quickly. You can find them out. And I think what I would and probably would help your clients is, I think the challenge I have is trying to articulate and then clearly identify the types of people I want, and then communicating that to my HR department and then finding it. Because a lot of the time they will effectively just be on LinkedIn, just be asking who fancies doing this. And I would, they ask me for a job description, I'll write a job description, but I've never hired anyone on the job description, especially a strategist. I find it almost, I don't think any of the best strategists I've ever hired have never been based on the job description I've given. So I think that the job with HR is they find it really challenging to identify the candidates to fill the pipeline for me. And therefore I then spend quite a bit of time getting people in that sort of seem to roughly fit, but very quickly you realise, this isn't the right person.
There's a lot in what you've just said there. I mean, first of all, yours sounds like you're working directly with your HR department. Is that just a sacrosanct thing, or do you get a chance to work with a search firm afterwards? So,
I mean, and this is interesting. I think we used to work with search firms, publicists, probably a lot of companies, corporations made the call to try and believe they could do it themselves. I think the jury's still probably out on that. I think there's definitely, we do use search firms when we're struggling to fill positions. And a lot of times we'll use them, especially on strategy roles, because what will normally happen is the HR team will send us some people. If we're struggling to find people, especially within the time constraints that we have, then then we'll go to preferred partners and search firms and start using them.
So again, apologies if it's a simplistic question, but if a JD is kind of at best a steer, and if you had a search consultant sitting in front of you, then what is the direction then? If it's not so much the JD, what else are you looking for? Is it certain characteristics, mindset?
Yeah,
if it's not a job description or a specific experience, what else are you looking for then?
So I think that the typical things that I look for there's a base level of capability. So firstly at the very base, they've got to be people that have had enough experience in certain elements of the business to have a baseline of capability. So that's the sort of first tick. Then I think it's do they have a sort of flexible mindset? So are they, with a strategist as well, you are, one day you could be doing more of a sort of client relationship selling role. Next day you could be working with quant mathematicians to work out how to build a model. They won't necessarily need to they won't have the capability to do that, but they need to be able to be flexible enough in their mindset to understand the mathematics and how that works and how it can be applied to the business. They need to be good storytellers. So they've got to have a very flexible mindset to be able to interact with different people and sort of wear different hats. So I look for that. I look for, I have to be honest, the passion and the energy of the individual. Are they someone that, when challenged with, we've got a short deadline, we've got to do something that they might not have done much of or have not know how to do it. Are they the sort of people that go, I'm going to roll my sleeves up and we're going to work this out somehow? Or are they sort of people that go, sorry, I'm not the right person for that, give it to someone else? And that, to be honest, is one of the most important things, which sort of takes me to my last thing I look for someone, which is just general responsibility. Are they the people that if you give them a problem or a challenge, or the client's asked for them to do something, they will see it through no matter what, and they won't walk away at 5:30 in the evening and go, sorry, tools down. So I think capability, flexible mindset, the ability to be very passionate about what they do, and obviously people, they have to be able to be, I tread carefully what I'm about to say on this one, which is they have to be good at interacting with people. That's not always the case, because sometimes you do want people that are, sometimes we're more mathematic quant-based people that might just be quite siloed or quite introvert, but actually that's really useful, because you don't want a load of people that are just extroverts that do one thing. You need to balance the team. And then finally, as I say, the responsibility point. So they're soft things that are very hard to write down on a job description.